You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You're fucked, mate.
3, 2, 1, and we
We're
are
nice
live. Hello, friends. You're listening to
Hello,
the Friends of Rugby.
potato.
I don't know how you do a South African accent like so well.
Deep respect. Just
Yeah.
deep respect.
You're actually you're pretty decent at a lot of accents.
I'm good at accents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can even hit the Aussie New Zealand accent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Get some sausage brew. I have to think about it, and I don't want to insult anyone, but yeah.
It's
I do my shower accents.
I used to be able to I used to be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. Do you know my trick? Pick a word that you like for South African. When I want to get inside, I say potato.
Yeah.
If you say potato, you get right into it. But like same with New Zealand, he says sausages. It sounds more like a New Zealander.
Or peen.
Pin.
Bisicle.
You got to say E's like an I, right?
Yeah. But bisicle. Like, what?
My pin.
What the fuck are you talking
I lost
about?
my pin.
Yeah.
And Flight of the Conchords. Respect to Flight of the Conchords. That helped.
They are pretty much the official ambassadors of New Zealand.
If Lord of the Rings hadn't already put them on the map, Flight of the Conchords fucking sealed the deal. Didn't
It's
they?
not that popular. There's a lot of people that don't know about that show.
They don't know about Flight of the Conchords?
Yes.
What sad lives.
I know.
Pathetic.
It's sad because you'll make references to it and
Yeah.
then people just I hate that. I always make references to things
Yeah.
and like people like never get it.
I know. Yeah. There's this show I like called Dark Place. It's like this British weird surrealist sci-fi horror sitcom. And I make references to it. When people don't get it, I get a bit upset. It's like, how do you not get that? But only me and 9 other people have ever seen this show. So
And then when someone does, when you make some very rare reference to something,
yeah.
and then that rare occasion
Yeah.
when someone does get it,
Yeah.
I'm just
I fall in love.
Oh, I'm so
I
turned
fall in
on.
love. Yeah, me too.
I'm just like, oh,
Yeah, this
God.
fucking guy. Perfect. Yeah.
This person's beautiful.
What a soul.
You're like an angel.
You have the same taste as me.
How you doing, Frank? How was your weekend? How was everything going for you?
It's good. Yeah.
How are you feeling about rugby these days?
Clearly better. Clearly better. I
Feel
feel like I've
rejuvenated?
started the right medication. You know, the meds are working now, whatever I'm on, you know. This one is working for me.
The Six Nations are automatically now just a brand new thing for you.
It feels like that. It genuinely feels like that.
Feels like I'm living a new
I
life.
can see the end of my chronic pain on the horizon. I've started my I found the right doctor. I'm doing the right rehab. I'm coming out of it.
My fibromyalgia is finally being cured.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I found the
Who
right
would have
crystal
known that
doctor.
crystals and rugby would have cured it?
Oh, there we go. We've lost the 2 remaining listeners we had. How are you doing, Steve?
They both suffer from fibromyalgia.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, how you doing?
I am doing really good. You can't be sad during Six Nations.
I was sad during Six Nations.
I guess if you're Welsh, I guess.
And you have to get up early. If I know you like that, but like Six Nations took a bit of a nosedive when I moved to Canada. Getting up at
Haven't you listened to any alpha male podcast? You're not getting up at 4 a.m.
No.
to bench press?
I am awake the same amount of time as all these people. I just go to bed later. You can do that. You can do that. I can bench press at 2 a.m. if I want to. You know?
So you're not getting up at 4 a.m. to drink. What would they drink? What would they
Probably
what-
some kind of mixture of broccoli, steak, raw steak,
Yeah, blended up.
honey,
Some kind of blood.
some kind of an
Blood
oyster,
mixed with coffee.
some kind of testicle
beef
as well.
blood with coffee and testicle.
Yeah, some kind of testicle.
Blended up. Boom,
Yeah,
boom.
and then tell me it's delicious. Unironically, bone marrow as well. They like a bit of bone. I like a bit of bone marrow actually, but I like it cooked. You know.
I always use alpha male shit at work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
What's your alpha?
because
male
they're like,
thing?
I'm in construction, so a lot of those guys will listen to that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll always like make fun of their bench press or something. Like, why should I even listen to you? Can you bench press like more than 250?
Yeah.
Like, you're not even a human being.
It's like if you're not a real medical doctor, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not taking your advice.
Yeah. No. If you can't bench press, why am I going? You're not even a human being. Why am I even listening to you?
I'm not going to drink bull testicles with
You're
you.
pretty much a woman. Like, what the hell? Like, yeah. They get so fucking mad because like a lot of guys are into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always like throw it at them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
I do get a bit sick of people asking me what my numbers are in the gym now. Like what can you bench? Just like I go to the gym until I stop feeling sad, and then I come home. That's my you know, and I'm not a sad person, but that's, you know, I'll lift things until the sadness goes away, and then I come home. I don't know what I'm lifting.
I kind of get upset at numbers. I get obsessed with numbers. The only thing is, I wish I looked like how strong I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
What do you mean?
Well, I'll go to the gym and then I'll come back and I'll smash a box of Oreos.
Oh yeah, makes you hungry, doesn't it?
And then cardio.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I really struggle with cardio. I really struggle to get to do some cardio.
I went to the 7-Eleven after the gym yesterday and bought 2 bags of Maltesers and a box of chocolate fingers.
I got 3 McDoubles after rugby practice on Monday.
There we go. This is just a sharing circle of.
Let's talk about so you're feeling good about the Six Nations.
I'm feeling better. I'm not feeling good. You know,
feeling better.
I am enjoying the spectacle. I'm enjoying the England thinking they're world beaters after scraping 2 wins. More to come on that. I'm enjoying the drama of the upcoming France Ireland game. This really is a rock paper scenario now, because France's attack may be the best in the world. I would even say it might be better than New Zealand right now.
I would never say that.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's never going to be a situation. I have to see some spectacular shit. Like people have been saying that a lot about France lately. Their attack is incredible.
It is incredible.
I was like, well, first of all, you're playing against Italy, and their defense looked like shit.
Okay, we can't on one hand say Italy have improved and also say, yeah, but you're playing against Italy. You've got to pick a fucking lane with Italy.
I think Italy have improved in a lot of areas.
Right, but we're still treating them like they're the bitch of the Six Nations.
What?
No, they're not. We are.
I don't know about that anymore.
We haven't. What? Here's another thing.
You guys got a new suit?
We have a new suit. Okay, here's another thing I'm going to talk about later on. Is we keep acting like we won that game. We didn't. We're still on the longest losing streak in our history.
Yeah,
you know?
but that performance.
It was
a win.
I mean, I'm taking a lot of positives.
It was the first time. It was the first time in a long time that you guys had a game.
We played a game of rugby,
and it was against Ireland.
Yeah, and you
shook the boys.
We did shake the boys,
and everyone thought you guys were going to get curb stomped.
We were the wind that shook the barley.
Like there was going to be assault charges afterwards, and the people that felt violated the most were the Irish in that game.
Yeah, some sections of the Irish media,
because there was no excuse for them to play a team that kind of has a big different look with a new coach.
Yeah.
Only 3 practices
apparently,
and then take them to the brink.
Yeah,
that was a little embarrassing for Ireland.
You think so?
Yep. Oh yeah, 100%.
Maybe. Well, they still won. And a good team rolls with those punches, right? A good team has off days and still wins. Anyway, I
was looking at the stats for the Six Nations too. There's some things. Total points. Yeah. The most points in the Six Nations right now. Tommaso Allen.
Interesting.
38.
Interesting.
Then Thomas Ramos.
Yeah. As in
top points in general.
Right.
These kickers. The kickers are always they get the unfair advantage here.
Yeah, they do.
Sam Prendergast, number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Louis Biel-Berry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up there now too. He's up there. He's number 4.
Yeah.
And he's just a wing. He's not kicking.
Well, that's how good France's attack is.
Yeah. Well, I think he got wasn't it like he had 5 tries?
A French winger is scoring more points than 2 other whole countries' 10s, 3 other. Because I didn't hear Finn Russell, Marcus Smith, and whoever is playing 10 on any given week for Wales.
Yeah, because Louis Biel-Berry, he has 5 tries this year. Six Nations.
He's fucking good, isn't he?
Ben White's up there. Hugh Jones, 4.
Yeah.
Tommy Freeman.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I was always expecting. I keep forgetting it's only 3 rounds. It's like only 5 tries?
That's another thing about the Six Nations. It feels like it's over already, doesn't it? But it's definitely not.
I think this weekend really, depending on who wins against Ireland, France, is going to solidify the end of the Six Nations. If Ireland win this on Saturday, the Six Nations is done.
Well,
I think they have Italy left.
It literally is. Yeah.
They're definitely going to win a grand.
But I think even if they lost against Italy, I think their points difference would be too big because France would have lost 2 games, right? And England just have not scored enough points.
Well, that's true. That could be,
I mean, it's not actually, but mathematically, it's not mathematically impossible. But you got to think
if Ireland lose 2 games in a row.
And I am disrespecting Italy. No, they'd have to.
And England would have only lost 1 game.
I'm disrespecting Italy by implying that not only are they going to win, they're going to win comfortably, which I don't see any evidence that that's not true. You know, so I'm being mean. a little bit.
Top 3 for successful penalty kicks: Tommaso Allen, Sam Prendergast, Marcus Smith.
Yeah.
Getting up there.
Yeah.
Successful conversions.
You trying to spin a narrative here?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Here's one you'll like.
All right.
Tackles made.
Yeah.
Sebastian Negri.
Yeah.
50. Josh Van de Fleer.
Yeah.
49.
Yeah.
Jack Morgan.
Yeah.
That guy's a workhorse.
He's insane.
I got time for Jack Morgan.
Everyone does. You know what is a bit annoying though recently is all the Welsh guys are getting credit for being workhorses and not being sexy try scorers, you know?
Here's the one you're really going to like. Tackles missed.
Well, I know who it is because I text you about it in the week.
Sam Prendergast.
Yes. I take no... You are trying to spin a fucking narrative here, right?
I am
you were trying to tell me that I think he's a I don't think he's a bad player.
Yes, you do.
I think Jack... I think Jack Crowley was done dirty.
Yeah.
He was did nothing. Where is he? Where is he?
He's on the team.
Is he in a box somewhere? Like...
The top 3 Englishmen in the top missed tackles.
Yeah.
Top 5. Alex Mitchell, Henry Slade, Ben Earl.
Ben Earl missing tackles is news.
Yeah.
Nines and 10s missing tackles is not news.
Ignacio Brex, too. He's up there, too, with a lot of missed tackles.
Is he he's a 13, though, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Is he 12 or a 13? Yeah, because 13 is... I played a lot of 13. That is a hard channel to defend. It is fucking hard. There's so much space, you know?
Tom Curry with the breakdown steals with 5. Jamie Ritchie. I really like Jamie Ritchie.
I like Jamie Ritchie.
How old is he?
He's getting on.
He's got to be getting on because he's been playing for a long time now.
He has been... I mean, I don't think he's ancient, like maybe you're implying. I think he's still within normal playing age. He's 28, mate. He's not even old.
Oh, he's a child.
I was about to agree with you, then I Googled. He's 28.
I can almost breastfeed him.
Yeah, you could. Well, you'd have to bend down a bit. He'd have to bend down.
Yeah, he would.
He'd be heavy in your lap.
Cleanouts, David Jenkins, most cleanouts in the Six Nations.
Oh, those Welsh lads, proper
Rory
workhorses.
Darge after that. Rory Darge and Jamie Ritchie really putting their hands up for Lions thing.
I do think the Scots in the forwards are getting neglected a bit in terms of the Lions talk.
Well, we'll get into that.
We're going to pick a Lions team. Do what everyone else is doing.
So I just wanted to go over some of the stats,
some of the key stats.
See where we're at. See where we're going here with the Six Nations.
It never tells you the real story, does it? I find that problem with rugby stats because if you did that with soccer, football, if I read you the stats, you'd be like, I know who's winning. You could tell me the people the team who've given away the most penalties, and it wouldn't tell me who's winning actually.
Yep.
Missed tackles by Sam Prendergast means nothing to the Six Nations table.
No.
You know, clearly.
But it is interesting to see when you go through the stats.
Yeah.
There's some surprising things that you come up like some players are doing a lot more work that you wouldn't notice.
100%. I think that's what the stats are good for. Is it tells an individual story or it tells the story of how a team are playing. It does not tell you who's playing good and bad because a lot of tackles means you don't have the ball, right? It's not necessarily a good thing. It just means you're working hard, right? In defense. So yeah.
We got a hodgepodge of stuff here today.
This is a speculative drama news rugby
I
day.
got something very concerning to talk about.
Yes.
I don't know if I told you about this.
You fucking did.
So last week's episode, we talked about the MLR.
Yeah, we did.
And the new scrum rules.
You went a bit upset about that.
Yeah. I was very
rightly so.
I found it very threatening to the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially because it's in America. Americans, their influence is huge.
Yeah.
And it's worrying because if like rugby really catches on, they can completely change the game till it's unrecognizable.
But to put a more positive spin on it, it's the hope of rugby, isn't it? Can this game grow beyond its traditional borders? Japan and the US
that is true.
Are the petri dishes. They have the money, they have the people, they have the academy, they have everything they need.
That's why it's important
to get this right.
It's important to get it right.
Yeah.
And to keep the spirit of the game alive.
Yeah.
Because if the Americans turn it into something else.
Yeah.
Then it's not rugby.
They're gonna hurt
and
our
then
baby.
If that caught on, whatever they build, whatever kind of rugby mutant they build, and it becomes the big thing, that will consume the rest of rugby.
Could do. Yeah.
So that's why it's dangerous.
Yeah.
But so what happened was after we posted the podcast, I went on Reddit and I shared the podcast on the MLR Reddit.
You mad lad.
Yeah. And this is the concerning thing that happened.
Okay. No one responded.
I was expecting this. No, a lot of people did.
Okay.
And I was expecting this rally cry behind me. Right? Like, don't attack the game, this purist.
Yeah.
Every single one of the comments was saying, I was fear-mongering. Scrums are confusing. They slow down the game. They're only there to restart the game. This will make the game fat. Like, everyone was against me on this. I didn't have a single comment of someone being like, yeah, we need to keep the integrity, the spirit of the game alive. And it was super concerning, especially someone that said the scrum only purpose is a restart in the game.
That is technically true.
Yes, but now in the MLR, that's what it is.
Yeah.
The only purpose of the scrum is for a restart after a knock-on.
Yeah. How did that make you feel?
I was surprised. I was like, am I the outlier here?
I'm glad you said surprised and not angry then.
I was super surprised. I was expecting everyone to agree.
Yeah, I found people in Canada and the US and countries which aren't traditional rugby strongholds. The guys who like rugby there are rugby purists, like yourself, right? When I meet a lot of Canadians and they're into rugby, they're more rugby purists than people back home because they have let rugby into their life in a way that it becomes a part of their personality. Right? For us, it's just, I mean, it is a big part of my personality, to be honest. But for a lot of guys back home, it is just a sport they watch. So they don't care as much. You guys, when you get into rugby, you really get into it, which is great.
It's like a cult.
So it's surprising that Americans who like rugby aren't purists in the way you're talking about to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super eye-opening.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, they need to make they need to bring the scrum, because they basically have taken the scrum out of all options. If there's an option for a scrum, you're not allowed to do that anymore. So it completely nerfs teams from planning around the scrum. It completely takes the scrum out of.
You're removing a set piece as a weapon, aren't you? Yeah. And I agree that's not a good thing.
Defensively and offensively.
Yes, I agree.
So now the prop is literally only on the field now.
Yeah.
For the sole purpose of a restart after a knock-on.
It's like a lock, right? Like a lock, what do they do on the field? What does a lock do in open play, right? They operate in the same way as a flanker does, hopefully, but they're a lot taller, so it's harder for them to get low in a breakdown, right?
A lock is like their main purpose is the line out.
That's right. They're set piece operators, right?
Yeah, they're set piece operators, and a prop is too.
That's
their
right.
Body type is designed for the set piece.
It's like we were talking about a while ago. Why does a lock have to be tall? There's no reason.
No.
Except for jumping in the line out. Why does a hooker throw into the line out? There's no rule that says they have to.
No.
There's no rule that says you have to lift the lock, right? Rugby has a place for people of every size. And that's why we like rugby, right? If you're a bit fat in school and you can't play football or you can't play ultimate frisbee or whatever, and some gnarly old fucker comes up to you and looks at you and goes, you're going to be a great fucking rugby player. And you go like, what? And it's like, we like big. And then you can be proud of your fucking body size. The same as you're a 7-foot freak and you can't like run as fast as the other kids and someone's like, I got a job for you, mate. Like, that is what I like about rugby. And you could be a 5'4" nippy scrum half. Like, this game is perfect because it does literally accommodate for all sizes. All you have to be is a little fucking crazy, right? It's sad because it's negating that.
It's also it's basically like it's gonna like as these rules like this year, all these teams like have planned to have props as props.
Yeah.
Even though they already had, I can't remember the previous rules they brought in for the scrum, but they already like nerfed the scrum on a couple other occasions.
Yeah.
So the props now only there to make sure this reset happens.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you don't really need to have like this like powerhouse prop anymore.
No, you don't.
Right? So these players are going to these body types are going to change.
Yeah,
for
like,
these props.
Look at rugby league.
They're
all the same fucking shape and size, aren't they?
Yeah, it's going to change.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to the Eagles going to play, where's their props?
And that's the big thing for me. That's the kind of the insurance policy with this is they're going to get embarrassed the next time they play an international game if all the things we said are true. They're going to the first time they scrum against anyone. Doesn't even need to be a tier 1 team.
No.
They're going to get fucking minced and embarrassed. And then they'll have to go, actually, maybe that wasn't a good idea. So let's hope it's a trial, you know? Let's hope it's like, let's see how this goes.
I just, it was very depressing when I saw that, those comments. I was expecting, Yeah, I was expecting a rally
You're
cry.
expecting a bit of solidarity, a bit of pushback. I wouldn't worry about it. You're saying that if America puts its weight behind rugby, it could change the outcome of what everyone else does. America, the world superpower, is not the same as America rugby, right? They could have influence, but I don't think they're going to push around the likes of literally anyone else who's a tier 1 country.
I would like to know what kind of influence Major League Soccer has done to the world stage of soccer.
Let
what
me
kind
tell
of changes?
you, fucking nothing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Fucking nothing.
But
and it's huge there now. It's big.
Yeah, but it's not bigger than in Europe.
No, not at all.
So the thing is, like, it doesn't take a lot for the MLR. It won't take a lot for the MLR to outgrow rugby in Europe.
But that's not. That's
their
because
competition is not very large.
It's not, and the reason for that is because rugby isn't nearly as big as other professional sports.
So that's why
it's
more. That's why in this situation it's more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because if they see something working over there, right? If they see something working, right? Rugby's in such a in a lot of instances, except for France, is in a lot of bad situations. They're gonna want to copy that.
Yeah.
So any kind of thing that kind of catches on here, like rugby in Europe, will try to imitate that.
Do you know who you remind me of?
What?
Al Gore, when he started warning people about climate change. You're man bear pigging me right now.
This is.
You're man bear pigging me.
This is rugby climate change.
You're like it's coming, guys. Yeah. Shut up, Steve. It's a matter.
It's a scary thing coming on the horizon.
Yeah.
There, it's scary, and that's why
this
it's
is
important.
Rugby climate change, eh?
That's why the MLR has a responsibility to keep the integrity of the game, to keep the game intact, to keep the game the way it is.
I agree that what is happening, I don't like it. I'm not as scared of you about it. I think this will have self-evident consequences as soon as America's scrum goes up against
that European elitism. And it's not like Americans are going to do anything we do better.
Yeah, basically.
Sports, they do. Right?
They don't,
Sports,
though.
they clean out everyone.
I don't think so, because look at their sport. Yeah, they're successful domestically.
Yes.
Nobody outside of the US cares about NFL in a serious way.
Because they don't have an NFL, anything. There's no foundation.
But they're trying hard. They've been trying hard for years. They play a game in London. No, exactly. That's my point. It's not catching on.
But if it did, and it became if they did in that situation, whatever the NFL is doing, they would copy.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about it.
It's a scary. I don't think it's scary.
I mean, I'm not discrediting. I think you've got a point. I'm just not as worried about it as you are. I think this will fall in on itself as soon as America gets fucking marmalized.
It also ruins the game for me to watch.
That is the bigger point. Is I don't want to watch exactly. That's a better point.
I'm excited to go and watch MLR games, and knowing all this underlying stuff taken out of the game.
Yeah,
it ruins it for me.
It does, and since the arrows folded and now this, I'm less inclined to watch it significantly.
Because it's not even rugby now.
The standard wasn't improving massively. It was improving, but it's not improving enough quickly for me to go, that's brilliant, And they had a few internationals go over, like Nonu, Chris Robshaw. They never play enough or significantly enough for me to care, as much as I enjoyed watching
Jumping
them.
him on, Nonu. He's back in the top 14.
Yeah, he doesn't fucking quit, does he?
Oh.
Fair play, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that was a kind of a shocking. Yeah, it spooked me. I got spooked.
You're right to be worried. I'm glad that you care about our game as much as you do. God bless you. But
don't worry, those Americans don't know what they're talking
about.
They know
in
sports,
rugby.
They know how to make sports big.
They know how to make sport. Well, prove me wrong.
That's one thing they do well.
They do, but they haven't fucking succeeded in this one,
Well,
so we'll see. We'll see.
Not people watch it.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. But don't worry. Don't worry. We'll be fine.
What else do you want to talk about here?
You wanted to talk about Jack Morgan.
Yes.
So tell me what
Morgan.
You wanted to talk about him.
So we were talking about how the performance.
The performance.
The Wales coming out of the closet.
Yeah.
The rugby closet.
Yeah.
I was reading a line, looking around, and I saw a Rugby Pass article, and Jack Morgan, they were talking about him.
Yeah.
Some things he said. And he said something about last week's game that was really eye-opening for me.
So it was a post-match interview after the Ireland game, right?
He said, and I'll put it in his words here, I'm going to quote this.
Oh, wow. Look at us.
Yep. It was good to have a clear plan of attack.
Oh, dear God.
What? That's my Welsh accent.
I could tell it is.
It felt a bit different for the boys.
Could you just make it less Irish?
That's Welsh. I thought that was Welsh.
No.
It's the same thing, right?
Or maybe.
He said, it was good to have a clear plan in attack.
Oof.
It felt a bit different, and the boys were excited. Just a small line.
Could be throwaway.
That small line
could be throwaway.
in my eyes, said a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. There was a lot in that line there.
Fucking
I was
Sherlock
like,
Holmes
what
over
the
here.
fuck was going on?
Yeah, you can read into this a lot or not at all, and we're going to read into it a lot
Yes,
because
we
it's
are.
fun.
Yes.
Because it's fun. So yeah, the significant part there is that first little sentence, right, where he says it was nice to have a plan of attack. Jack Morgan seems like the nicest fucking guy ever as well. I do not think he is going to throw Gatland under the bus, even accidentally, right? Like, he's not going to do that. However, what he's saying, if you read between the lines, it sounds like they didn't have a plan of attack at all. And do you know what? It looked like they didn't have
a clear plan of attack.
Yeah. And like, not only is that damning of Gatland, it's damning of Rob Howley, because not only did he have a lot to prove, he actually reduced his stock, right? He came back when no one wanted him and made it worse somehow, right? Made our attacks look even less effective. Like,
now, some of the comments, I was reading through the comments I got, because it's got like over 100 comments on Reddit.
Yeah.
Because I posted this on Reddit.
Right.
And a lot of people commented on it. And I saw a lot of comments about how Warren Gatland and Rob Howley, they coach the offense.
Yeah.
They kind of like leave it up to... This is what I saw. I didn't know if it was true, but I saw a bunch of comments saying that they kind of left it up to the offense to kind of make it up.
So they didn't coach them, is what you're saying.
And
they just left them be.
They wanted this like thing where like the backs and stuff, they kind of create the attack. Like the players kind of self-coach themselves in the attack.
So they're going to put a guy who doesn't play 10 in 10 and say, you figure it out. It's like, this is my position.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Can I change position? No.
So you could see how, like, not having certain key figures.
Yeah.
Because if you had Dan Bigger as 10,
he would coach it, wouldn't he?
He would coach it.
Yeah,
he would direct it. But they didn't have that leadership.
Yeah.
Right? So they're trying to do the same shit that they always did.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the players in the positions to take control.
Yeah.
It was just shocking how blind.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
And that's just an assumption.
Yeah, of course it is. Like,
but it's still like...
But if you look at the way they were playing on the field, it goes, oh, that does make a lot of sense, right? Because Gatland was controlling everything in terms of him being stubborn and wanting to play a particular way with big bulldozing carries, and yet he was also being liberal in his advice to the backs, like, do what the fuck you want, I don't care. So it's kind of like, you're going to let them be as long as they play within your weird, strict parameters. And obviously...
We'll just let the players coach themselves.
It's speculative, but you've got to look at our results. We hadn't scored more than a try against Ireland in several... I mean, we only scored 2 against them in the game, but one of them looked like a good... Both of them were good tries. Neither of them were fucking penalty tries or driving mauls from 10 meters out, right? They were both well-earned tries. That's the first time that's happened in years, right? And that's even more damning of, like, you have a fucking attack coach. The fuck is he doing if he's not coaching the attack, right?
Yeah.
What's he doing? Shining your shoes, Gatland. Like,
and I saw that comment come on a lot about how they were trying to, like, get the players to self-coach themselves on the attack.
Jeez, yeah.
So there was no plan.
Speculative, there was no.
Speculative.
Yeah, but fun speculative.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that as truth. It's just, for him to say that, that was just, there was just so much you could, like, read into, like, why would he say something like that?
Yeah.
A clear plan of attack. So they were going into games not really knowing what they were going to do.
Yeah. There's been a lot of comments like that from a lot of Welsh players in the last few weeks. It's just about how the feeling is that they seem a lot happier, but they're being too polite to actively say, this is great. All I'm not saying is like, oh, Matt's a great guy. Matt Shearer is a great guy and everything, there's a different feeling, but they're not actively saying it's now better.
Gatland, like, he seems like one of those scientists from, like, the 1800s that would just double down on their discovery even if it was completely proven wrong.
Yeah.
And then, like, they'll try to, like, murder the other scientist or, like, bury him. Like, I read a book once about that. It was all about, like, the science stuff, and that's what they would do.
Yeah.
They would come up with a discovery, and they would just do anything they could to make sure that this discovery was the discovery of everything.
Planting false evidence and
and then they
making bones out of paper mache.
And anyone that tried to question them or had a different, like, view on things, they would just try to bury these people, professionally, even, like, with their lives, like, try to have them murdered and stuff. And it's just like Gatland was just like felt like he had a way that worked a long time ago, and he just kept doubling down. No, the problem is we're not using my system properly enough.
Yeah.
We got to keep going. We got to keep going. Like, this is how we win games.
I want to say something from the other side that I agree with you. And I read his autobiography, and he's just a stubborn man, right? And that used to work. What I read, I heard some pundits, I can't remember who, they said that actually, they went even further than all the slagging off other people have done. They said, actually, with the players he had, it wasn't him. It was just he had a golden generation. Mm-hmm. And I find that disrespectful because
I would agree too.
Like, we had good players, but to say they weren't even the best in the world in their position in a lot of cases, right? Like, you had, for example, at his height of power, Kieran Reid for the All Blacks was the best 8 in the world. Faletau is fucking incredible, but I would have picked Kieran Reid over Faletau.
Yes.
Jamie Roberts was a very good player, but he was very one-dimensional as well. He was a battering ram, right? They were better centres at 12 in terms of their skill set. Lee Halfpenny never missed. He would punish you for making mistakes, but he wasn't the best attacking fullback in the world, was he? So yes, we had good players, but to say that a lot of our success wasn't down to Gatland is bullshit.
Like, if
right?
you had to tell me, like, in the past, like, 12 years or whatever, the world class players from Wales, I would have to say Josh Adams probably. Probably Josh Adams was one of the few Welsh players that would have been picked above anyone.
Right, in his position, right?
In his position.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's exactly what I'm saying. And people always talk about Sam Warburton in glowing terms. He was an excellent leader. He was very good. He was a fucking world class player. He still wasn't better than Richie McCaw, right? No. I know they don't overlap so much, but there were still other sevens in the world who were as good as him or had different skill sets that were better, right? And I fucking love the guy. He was a world class player. And George North is genuinely one of my rugby heroes. He didn't really live up to the hype after the 2013's Lion Tour. He was barnstorming, incredible, but he never really set the world on fire like as much as people thought he would, right?
Even Alwyn Jones, like, amazing leader. Yeah. Plays like 110% of his heart.
Yeah.
There's still locks you would go over Alwyn Jones with, right? He's really up there.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people, if you're picking like a Lions team, he's like at his height, he was an automatic pick.
Yeah.
But still, even him, like you're exactly right. Like, Gatland had an influence back in the day.
100%. And people say it was all Sean Edwards. And our defense was fucking incredible.
That comment too. Came up a lot in that post on Reddit too. People were attributing that. Sean Edwards was the key to Gatland's success.
Right.
And after he left, that's where everything started crumbling, which is kind of timing. You kind of see the...
However, without Sean Edwards, Gatland took us to World Cup and we put a record score on Australia and finished top of our group, winning every single game without Sean Edwards. With a squad where half the fucking golden generation, in quote marks, had retired. So I don't buy that either. I just think Gatland's, as you've said many times, his style of play just is outdated and he's just a stubborn bastard, right? And we should, in Wales, we need to stop this historical revisionism. He was fucking incredible.
It's opening up a lot of conversation about old school coaching too.
Yeah, it is.
Like, the players are changing.
Yeah.
But the coaches aren't.
Yeah.
It's like when I was like, I grew up, like, I work in construction, and when I was still on the tools, when I first started out, like, the bosses were mean.
Yeah.
Right? The bosses were like, they always swore at me, yelled at me all the time. Yeah. They just treat you like shit. Right? And I grew up like that's how I went. Yeah. Right? You either survive in that environment because that's how it is. Yeah. Or you don't. Yeah. Right? Now these young kids, like, these days, they're coming in, they're different people, right?
They're smarter.
You're like, hey, what the fuck are you doing, you idiot? And you're like, whoa, don't talk to me like that. I quit. Bye.
Right. But I will say this because
I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, this is how things change.
It is, yeah, they're definitely. Right? And that's why Matt Sherratt at Wales is good, because he obviously understands that. He understands how younger players interact. I think a lot of the younger people are smarter, more analytical, but I do think they'll put up with less rude
100%.
behavior, right? I think there are some players. I even saw Sam Warburton the other day on BBC say he likes it when a coach is mean to him or critical because it focuses him. And I get that, but I do think the younger generation generally, you have to tell them why you're yelling at them. right? Because they want to know. They're analytical in a way that we weren't when we were playing.
Yeah, we didn't question. We didn't question authority.
No,
like,
there was a much more like he's the old hierarchical head of the family vibe, and now it's like you've got to earn my respect, and I've got to earn your respect.
Yeah,
right. We're both here. We're both professionals. Let's work together. Situation.
And now that I've been in management for so many years in construction, people are like, oh, the guys enjoy working for you, or your crews do so well, because I kind of incorporated that into my management style.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of this person being like below me, this person is part of the team.
Yeah.
Right. And these new coaches that are having success are being progressive like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're learning. Like, I think Ronan O'Gara had an interview where he talked about, approaching, like, a good coach has the ability to be able to identify the strengths and weaknesses of feedback with different players.
Yeah.
Like, not all players are the same.
Yeah.
Some players want to get yelled at. Some players, it'll hurt their performance.
Yeah.
Right. And a coach is getting paid money for results.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to, instead of ousting the player that's not fitting in your mold there, because that player could potentially, keep your job.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be able to, adapt to different situations. And I think that's what happened with Gatlin, Eddie Jones. There's a lot of old school coaches. I think as the years go by, you're going to see a lot of very successful coaches from the past have just die out.
I think Michael Checker falls into that in a slightly different way, because
I do too.
He is one of those old school hard bastard stubborn guys. But the difference here for him, and it is an important difference, is when he goes after people, he protects his players, right? When he's pissed off, he's yelling about the refs, he's yelling about the behavior of the other team. He's doing so to protect his players, right? He is your guy. He will fight for your corner. And I think where Gatland lost me a bit was when he didn't stand up for the players during a strike, and he was tone deaf when he picked Corey Hill as captain. He just said some things which were tone deaf.
Yes.
Right? And he was in a position where he had to win our trust back a bit, because he'd lost a bit through some bad results. And he just not only he didn't seem to care. And he threw some players under the bus. He threw Alex Mann under the bus. I felt like he shamed Reece Carey a bit too publicly about his fitness. And after that, I was a bit like, he's not going to change,
Let's, I think we said enough about this.
Yeah, we have.
I want to segue, like, I just want to switch over to a little bit of something you said, though.
Yeah.
Just give it a little bit of time. Michael Checa is, he's being rumored hard.
Really?
For the Wales job.
Everyone.
How do you feel about that?
It's a weird
Would you
one.
like that?
I don't know.
What was the problem with him in the Wallabies?
Nothing.
When he was with the Wallabies,
I don't think there was a problem.
They had a lot of there's a reason why he left the job, right?
All right.
Their success was dipping.
You'll have to tell me what happened with Checker and the Wallabies, because I remember them not getting the results but thinking they're on the right track.
Because one of his main criticisms for Checa was his selection.
Right.
To the point where they had to bring in a third party person to like basically kind of
let's bring in a consultant to pick the team,
right? Because he was like, these are my boys kind of thing.
He was too loyal to his players.
Yes. That's what was one of his main criticisms. Right. He was just refusing to pick, like there was people were like, why aren't you picking these other players?
Yeah.
And he would pick the people that he trusted. Right. This is my team.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with my team. And that was one of his main criticisms. There's something about Checa where I don't think, like, personally, I don't think he's the right guy for Wales.
I don't.
Another thing too is his commitment. If Wales are going to hire another coach, they need a guy that wants to be there for the next 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And Checa's already said he doesn't want to stay in the UK.
Right? Yeah. So I just don't think I don't think he is.
He's not even a good short-term solution, is he?
No. I don't think he's the progressive. Though he's had some major success with Argentina. When he was there, Leicester Tigers has been so-so.
Yeah.
But I feel like if he would have went to Leicester and kind of knocked it out of the park with them, which he had some high moments, but he's had some low moments. They had like a record-breaking loss. I would say, maybe he's grown, he's changed as a coach, but there's some things that are giving me red flags that if they hire Checa, they're kind of almost getting into another Gatlin situation.
That's the main reason I don't want him, is he's in that mold of old school coaches. We need a young guy who understands young players. We have a young squad. We have the youngest squad, depending on the day the squad is announced, in the Six Nations. So we need someone like Matt Sherratt. He's not going to stay, by the way. who is motivating young people and understands young people, quote unquote, right? So it's not, you're right, it's not, I think Checker would be better than Gatland, but he's not the guy we need right now.
If I could see, so Sherritt's been very adamant that he's not gonna take the Wales job.
Yeah.
But if he beats Scotland next week, they play Scotland next week, they play Wales last game, right?
Wales play Wales last game.
No, Wales play England last game.
Right.
Yeah, and Wales play Scotland next week.
Yeah.
If he beats Scotland,
Yeah.
And loses to England,
Yeah.
I think he'll go back to Cardiff. If he loses both games, he'll go back to Cardiff.
Yeah.
If he loses to Scotland but beats England,
Yeah.
that's a big thing. If he wins the next two games, that's an even bigger thing. And if he beats either England, or he beats Scotland and England, there is no way he's going back to Cardiff.
Let me tell you something.
110%.
Let me tell you something, Steve. You know I respect you.
Yeah.
Right? There's very few times I'm going to tell you you're wrong. Outright. You're wrong on this one. I know Matt Sherritt like a brother. Not really. I've never met him. I've only seen him in interviews.
He's getting that taste of that international rugby,
but as
a top job, and he has that success. There's no way he's.
You've got to look at his coaching history, right? He was at Worcester. He's done stuff with the Ospreys. He's been at Cardiff. Like, he loves developing a squad. He loves being in the club week on week. You can tell he does. Even the conversations he's had in interviews where he's talking about when people are texting him to congratulate him, it's all jokey language, right? He's like a banter guy. He loves the boys. He loves being there week on week. He doesn't want it. He loves Cardiff. He loves coaching Cardiff.
Money talks. And
not to Matt Sherritt.
He's
a man of principle.
Coaching a test team.
Yeah, that's
like the cream of the crop of coaching. That's got to be every coach's dream.
Because you're like an American, you only think in terms of money. He's a principled man. He doesn't want the money.
I'd be willing to bet if he bids the next two games.
Yeah.
I would guarantee that he's not going anywhere. Wales are going to push hard to keep that success rolling.
We should bet on this. This is betting territory.
You know what you'll see?
What?
To even heighten that information, he might go back to Cardiff after the Six Nations.
He will.
But I have a feeling that we're going to call Matt Sherritt back for the summer tours.
But they do that already. So Matt Sherritt has already done like coaching sessions with Wales. They do that.
Yeah,
right?
But he'll go and take them on the summer tours this summer. Right? He'll be the head coach.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Like, we're going to bring him in. Yeah. And then he's just not going to leave. It's man, if he has this success, because this is a pretty, like, I haven't seen anything like this in a long time in a lot of other sports. For a coach to come in, few training sessions and completely turn a team around.
But they didn't win.
They still
didn't win.
They still, they shouldn't have won that game, even if they were, they shouldn't have won that game, even if they were prime fucking Wales. That Ireland team is fucking, like, hardcore good.
Yeah.
So that I don't even care about that.
Okay.
Right? So, but England and Scotland, these are winnable games now.
They are if we play like
they play
did.
like that.
Yeah.
Those teams are in trouble.
Yeah.
And I can see Matt Sherritt like.
We should bet on this.
We should
make do some kind of zany rugby bet. Yeah. Let's come back and think about that.
Do you want to talk about
20-minute Reds?
Yeah, we want to talk about 20-minute Reds.
I do want to talk about 20-minute Reds, and I want to preface this because it's going to sound like one of my anti-Ireland rants. Ireland, the IRFU, voted against 20-minute Reds, right? That's really important to say.
Yeah.
Because anytime this is brought up in the context of that Wales-Ireland game, it sounds like, and sometimes it is, salty Welsh people and just salty people generally who don't want Ireland to be successful, right? So it's really important to say that Ireland are on the right side of history here. They did not want this.
Yeah.
However, I was talking to my friend back home, and he made a point, and I've thought this for a while. Some people are going after the bunker system and the 20-minute red as a kind of a package. These are new, which is totally me 100%. This is the main point I want to make clear. I fucking hate the 20-minute red, but I fucking love the bunker. I love the bunker because it takes the onus off the referee on the field. He's under pressure. He's got 50,000 people screaming at him. If you give it to a guy in a truck in the car park, the job of objectively analysing if that was the right or the wrong decision.
And it's a team.
And he's got 10 minutes to do it. And it's a team. It's three guys. They're going to make the right decision. Not always, but they're going to make a better decision than a referee on the field.
100%.
It's just true. It's just true. No matter how unbiased or level-headed that referee is, the bunker team are going to make a better decision than you. And you still have a 10-minute yellow period, which they probably deserve. So it's win-win, right? There's no downside to the bunker system for me. The 20-minute red, my friend made a point. They're trying to turn rugby into a movie, right? They're trying to make it a script. The 20-minute red is part of the spectacle now. It's like the villain in a movie is, oh, look at this twist. Oh, isn't he a bad guy? We've got 20 minutes off. Like, this is about fucking safety. This is a sport. A guy just got smashed in the fucking head by a 250-pound man running at full speed. This has nothing to do with the narrative of the game. And if we're making a 20-minute red, the individual punishment needs to be more severe. It can't be 3 or 4 games. If you've committed a dangerous, violent act on a man's fucking brain that could delete 10 years of his life at the later end of it, this is serious, right? A 20-minute red, and people always make the joke, Wales jam slam. If the other teams hadn't been trying to knock our fucking skulls out of our head, they wouldn't have got they wouldn't have got a red card and lost the game. We didn't jam slam anything. The other team was playing shit, and they lost a player. A red card should be a punishment, a severe punishment against your team. Your team is shit because you can't keep your shit together. You nearly killed a guy. You should leave the fucking field and not come back for 2 months, right? It's serious.
People try to use that as like, oh, the game's gone soft.
Yeah.
Like, when in rugby, what years in rugby were you allowed to like fucking just smash a guy in the head?
And it happened, right?
Never.
And guess what? You got a fucking red card.
Yeah.
You got a red card, right?
It's never been a law.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing these guys, like, you know, after playing rugby for so many years, foaming at the mouth, dying early, you know, early onset dementia. Like they kind of want to stop that.
They kind of do.
And you kind of want your best players and your favorite players. I want to watch my favorite players play for as long as possible.
And I want them to be aware of the consequences of being a dumbass. Because people will say things like, oh, Gary Ringrose isn't a dirty player. I agree, he's not a dirty player. But the point is, that shouldn't factor into the fact that he's trying to take someone's head off with his shoulder, right?
Now, with the 20-minute reds too, Springboks versus All Blacks. 20-minute red. Okay, whatever. That player's still gone for the game. He's going to get suspended for a few games. The Springboks and the All Blacks, they're fine.
Of course they are.
20-minute red, they're fine because they got someone else.
Those benches.
But if you got All Blacks versus Scotland,
it's a different story, right?
The player that they get to bring on versus the players that Scotland will get to bring on their bench, it's not equal.
No, and it's exactly
it really
the same.
Exposes that so the teams can really use their depth as an advantage.
Yeah, suddenly your bench isn't just an addition, it's an integral part of your team, which of course it is an integral part of your team, but it's as important as the starter. Wales, like, this is the perfect example, and this is why a lot of people are angry, because if you can bring on Bundy Aki, who, by the way, changed the fucking game when he came on, and fair play to him, like, came on, stole the fucking ball, deleted our attack when we were looking fiery, right? And in another world, he may not have come onto the field. And in another world, they would have still been down to 14 men, so his impact would have mattered less, right?
That was eye-opening for a lot of people in the rugby world. Even the Irish media picked up on that. Like, Ireland got a big helping hand with these 20-minute reds.
They did. And
you get to replace Ringrose with fucking Bundy Aki.
And look at Ireland's depth and resources these days, right? It's incredible, and good luck, fair play to them. But if they can bring on Bundy Aki, and Wales are bringing on a guy who's got 0 caps and barely left the Scarlets Academy, it's not a level playing field, is it? And we're saying that's a punishment?
Yeah.
It's not a punishment, is it?
No.
You're back to full complement with one of the best centres in the world, and your guy has nearly killed another guy, right? Like,
yeah, I just feel like the 20-minute red, it favors teams that have more depth,
and it wants to turn rugby into a spectacle, and it spits in the face of this idea that we're taking health and safety seriously. We're not.
And
right?
a 20-minute red also doesn't carry enough accountability.
It doesn't, and your team should lose a game if you've got a red card, because you're not good enough to keep your discipline good, right? Because let's not forget, it doesn't go straight to red card. It goes yellow first. There's enough room to hang yourself with before you even get to a red card, right? You can fuck around with a yellow card. You can fuck around with 2 or 3 yellow cards for your entire team. If you get a red card, maybe you should fucking lose the game. You fucked up. Your team fucked up, right? Badly. So anyway, but I'm not having to go against Ireland because they voted against this. They didn't want it, right? And their depth is class, and they shouldn't be punished for that. But going forward, if I'm Portugal and I'm in a World Cup group stage and I'm playing even Italy, who have a lot better depth than them, it makes a difference.
It does.
And if I am a guy who has a game plan where I'm going to think, we could win this game. If you could take DuPont out, we can still bring on a pretty good guy to replace whoever takes DuPont out.
Yeah.
You're going to see the NHL equivalent of Goons come back, right?
I heard people saying that that's stretching it, but fuck, you guarantee coaches are going to do whatever they can to win.
100%.
You take out the best player on that team,
Yeah.
especially someone like DuPont who has an impact. Like you're a fucking sniper in that guy.
And that's another downside to the 20-minute red, right? Like if I take out DuPont, maybe deliberately, maybe not, he's not coming back. I can still bring on a world-class player. I've taken out the best player in the world, and he's not coming back, right? Because I've given him a fucking concussion or whatever. Or I've broken his leg, you know? So for me, it's just, I don't see an upside to it. We forgot that a red card was a serious thing. It should be fucking serious. I could even see an argument for 40 minutes, to be honest. Make it significant. But 20 minutes is not significant. And we saw that in that game. It wasn't a big deal in the end, right? You know?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's just not enough. I'm not seeing enough benefits.
No, and especially when we're talking about safety.
If you were a Welsh fan that game and that happened, and that's how it played out, and how it did play out, you're pissed.
I'm not actually. I still think Ireland would have won that game.
But it's still like it gave
clearly
them an advantage that they didn't need to have. That they didn't deserve to have.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So yeah, I could be like this is all coming down like. It's surprising how much influence New Zealand has over the world of rugby. Because this is really coming down. Like the All Blacks and like Zanzibar really pushed this whole card change.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
because I think it was Ireland and France voted against this, right? I think I'm right in saying that, and maybe there were more, but it has been percolating in the Southern Hemisphere for a little while.
Well, they've been doing 20-minute reds for the last few years.
Yeah,
now,
exactly. Yeah.
Right, and it's come down to them getting fucked over in big test games. We don't want that to happen anymore.
Well, they've also got League to compete with, haven't they? They're worried that League is taking away the Hollywood moments of rugby, right? And that's exactly what this feels like. It feels like they're trying to turn rugby into a film.
It just shows how fucking stupid like the people that are running rugby are.
We rarely get things right, do we? We rarely get things right.
They're so obsessed with league.
Yeah.
Like you're already better. You already got a better product than league. Like just stop being obsessive with league and just make your product better. Do the things that you're supposed to be doing.
That's right. We need to lean into things like
instead of trying to make the game more like league.
Yeah.
Like show the people why Union is the better product.
Just referee the scrum consistently, and you'll see better scrums, right?
It's such a destructive and toxic fucking mentality. Like just to try, let's just copy what League is doing.
Yeah.
Make the game more like League.
Yeah. No.
What, to confuse the fan and what they're watching? I thought this was a League game.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
So anyway, I've kind of said my piece there.
Another thing that's going on around in the rugby world right now, Lions Tour is coming up in the summer.
Yeah.
A lot of people online, a lot of content creators, everyone, they're making their own Lions 15s.
Yeah.
You know, all the fun times is happening. And I'm here for it.
We're doing it?
No. No, because
Come on.
No one wants to hear our 15. First of all, I would hate to be the person that's actually doing the official selection.
So we're just going to talk. You want to talk about just line selection generally? I want to talk about it generally.
The trend I'm seeing in a lot of people's picks.
Yeah.
And why I'm thinking it's so difficult this year too, because you're seeing a lot of people's teams picks, and a lot of them are Irish heavy.
Yeah.
And what makes this so difficult this year too is a lot of Irish players are like, you know, the numero uno in their position right now.
Yeah. Hard to argue
and
with that.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Even the backup, you know, is better than everyone else. The main thing, Caelan Doris, Jack Conan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Both
Hard to argue with it though, isn't it?
You can't argue with it. Because who are you going to pick above them?
Even if you took Falatau, it's like you're going to take someone who's very good, but still old, right? And you wouldn't even pick Falatau ahead of Doris, would you? And that's the crazy thing. Conan is fucking incredible and doesn't even start. Like, you know? Yeah.
So it's really the hooker.
Yeah.
Hooker position too.
Yeah.
Dan Sheehan
and Kelleher.
And Kelleher. Like these are really fucking two super duper good hookers.
Very good. I feel sometimes recently because they'll almost mention Wales guys because they feel like they have to. I remember Scotland were in this situation a few years ago when Wales and England, when Gatland was picking the Lions, and it was mostly Welsh guys, and we were playing well, so deservedly so. But it was almost like the pundits would say a Scottish name just because like they felt they had to. And there's a couple of Welsh guys who I think genuinely deserve it, But when people are talking about Dewi Lake to go as a hooker, like, I like Dewi Lake, but he's been injured for so long, so consistently, that to even talk about him in the same breath as Kelleher feels insulting to Kelleher, right? Like, and he's a good player, but he's not playing right now. How could you pick him?
I think the thing that happens is the illusion that's happening here. When I'm putting my mind to it, like, what's making Ireland stand out too is they are the only team in the Lions selection pod that have really solidified their positions.
Yeah.
Right? They know their team.
Yeah.
Right? When England, for example, and Wales, their teams are not fully set out. They don't know who their 10 really is.
No.
They don't know who their, like, England doesn't know who their 10 really is. Scotland does.
Yeah, the paint's still drying on England
like
even
the
now, right?
The spine of their team is still like kind of like up in the grabs.
Yeah.
Like Ben Earl's been playing 8, but is he like the real 8?
He's
I
not.
feel like if an 8-man really stood out, they would slot in that position.
Yeah.
The only reason why Ben Earl is playing 8 at that time, because they had
Tom Brandt.
Don Brandt, but he wasn't really putting his hand up. And then they had the Willis brother, not Jack Willis, his other brother, playing in there, right? But he didn't even like really like stand out.
The best way to put this is if Billy Vunipola was fit and firing and 10 years younger, we wouldn't have this conversation, would we? Because he would be the fucking King 8 for England. Like,
when you looked at the last 2 Lion squads,
yeah,
the English teams, they were put together. They knew who their guys were.
Yeah.
So it was easier to pick these guys because they were like the standouts. They held their hand up like, this is my position.
Yeah.
Like, who's the best fucking English scrum half
right now?
Yeah, who? Is it Harry Randall?
It's Mitchell, but
Is it
even
Mitchell?
then, it's not a strong Mitchell, is it? Like,
Is it Ben Spencer? A lot of people are saying that.
It's Mitchell. It's just like he's still, like I said a minute ago, the paint hasn't dried on Alex Mitchell yet, but it is Alex Mitchell. But yeah, your point still stands strongly though. Like, you're right. Ireland. Here's a question for you: do you take players from every country because that is the spirit of the Lions, or do you just take the best possible team regardless of the country they come from?
See, this is why it gets difficult because I think your responsibility of a Lions coach is to take a mix, as much as possible.
It is, right?
I don't know. I think Gatlin has been like kind of got a lot of criticism because he took a lot of English players.
Yeah.
In both. How many times has he done it? Three. But he's
3. Yeah.
But at the same time, the English teams were the most solidified on where people were playing. Like, these people have claimed positions.
Yeah.
Now Ireland is that team. I would, if I was picked, I wouldn't want to pick the Irish. There's so many good players, man. There's so many.
But not only Ireland solid, they're also much better in their positions than Wales, Ireland, and even Scotland, right? Scotland might be the exception because they have a very settled backline, which is very good. Unfortunately, Tui Pilotu being injured and Finn Russell having a couple of dodgy games has changed the narrative there a little bit. Because you'd asked me 6 months ago, Tui Pilotu, it would have almost been a full Scottish backline and a full Irish pack. And I'd have been fine with that, you know?
The most contentious positions, in my eyes, would be fullback.
No, it's Hugo Keenan.
What about Blair Kinghorn?
We'll take him.
He's fucking amazing.
But Hugo Keenan starts, Blair Kinghorn goes. I don't think that one's contentious. 10 is contentious.
10 is very contentious.
Yeah.
I think scrum half is pretty simple.
Was Jameson Gibson Park.
And
his backup might be contentious.
Thomas Williams?
Or Alex Mitchell, maybe. Yeah, but I think Thomas Williams is a stronger case.
Who's the guy at what's his name? At Scotland.
It's Greg Laidlaw. You might not have heard of him.
Fuck, I miss him. Who is his name? Is it Ben White?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. He's playing his fucking skin out too.
He is.
So
and I think Tom Jordan for Glasgow and Scotland also gets overlooked because he's fucking good. And I also think Darcy Graham's fucking good as well. Like, I really have a lot of time for Darcy Graham. So I do think some of those Scottish guys get overlooked based on a Scottish performance that isn't as good as it could be.
Lock is really contentious too.
Yeah.
Trying to take a mix of locks because you're going to want to take Tyke Byrne. You're going to want to take Joe McCarthy.
Well, you take a Toji.
Yeah, you take a Toji.
Yeah.
Right? And then below that, there's a whole, like, James Ryan.
Yeah.
Are you taking James Ryan?
Ryan Baird could do. Go. Here's the problem I have is there's some positions where people will go, it's contentious because I can't think of a good enough Welsh, Scottish, or English player, and we're taking basically an Irish bench warmer because they're better. Yeah. That's fine by me. So, for example, the lock is a good example of this, right? You take Itoje, and then you probably take 3 Irish guys because you take Tyburn because he's fucking excellent and he's versatile and can cover back row, and then maybe you take McCarthy or James Ryan because they're fucking good.
There's some guys I think that would excel in a Lions jersey too. David Jenkins is one of them.
I think if
the guy's a standout player,
he is class,
and he's played some really good rugby. Against some really good teams, and having
in a bad team,
in a really bad team.
Yeah, both Exeter and Wales.
That's when you could tell a player's really good when they're playing really good.
Oh, you know me,
and
I
they're
say this a
getting
lot.
crushed.
Yeah.
There's him.
Yeah, that's why you have to take Jack Morgan, because not only is he fucking amazing, he's amazing in shitty teams, right? Like, it's hard to be good in shitty teams.
The flankers, that's tough.
That is tough. And to be honest, Jack Morgan is one of the first guys on the list for me. Like, and then you've also got Van der Fleer.
Van der Fleer is definitely on that plane.
I don't like a lot of the English flankers. I'm not going to lie. I don't like the Curry brothers as much as other people do, but I would take Ben Earl.
Ben Earl, the Curry brothers.
Yeah. I would take Jamie Ritchie, actually.
I was just going to say Jamie Ritchie and Roy Darge.
Yeah.
Those guys are fucking...
Yeah, the flankers
Tommy
is
Raffel.
hard. I wouldn't take Tommy Raffel. I wouldn't take Tommy Raffel.
Flanking is like the flankers, like those Lucy's.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of depth. 7
is hard. There's a million good 7s in Ireland and
I have
UK.
I have a big feeling that Peter O'Mahony is going to go on that plane.
I don't, to be honest.
A lot of people are writing him off.
Yeah, I'm not writing him off. I don't think he wants to go.
I would say the majority of people agree with you. There's something that's telling me that Peter O'Mahony, like, he is his, like...
Do you think he wants to go, or do you think Andy Farrell wants him to go?
I think Andy Farrell wants him.
Right.
Because he is a fucking... Like, he's just a warhorse. Like, he's just so... Like, they want that grittiness.
They want that dog.
Yeah, they want that dog.
He's got a bag of dogs in him, hasn't he?
Yeah. And every game he plays, especially right now, he's playing fucking amazing. He's playing some of the best rugby.
Man.
He's playing some of the best rugby. He's a super reliable.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the surprise pick for a lot of people, because people are saying he's not going to go on, but I'm putting a lot of money that Peter O'Mahony is going to go on that plane.
I'll tell you my hot take, and it's not hot at all, because other people said it. But the English exiles, Jack Willis, has to go.
Yeah, but they already have... The problem with Jack Willis is he plays 8.
Right.
And they got Conan and Doris.
Well, I'd take Doris and Jack Willis then.
And not Conan.
I mean, I'd take Conan. I don't. Conan can play.
Because I would argue that Conan and Doris are better than Jack Willis.
No, I think Jack Willis is in between the two. I think he's not as good as Caelan Doris, but he's better than Conan.
And you can make an argument. I bet you there's a lot of people can make an argument. Who's better, Doris or Conan? Because they are both fucking good.
I remember when Jack Conan was the guy, and
he was Lions 8 last.
Right, exactly. Yeah, kind of. Caelan Doris almost usurped him a bit, right?
Yeah.
In the same way that Jack Crowley has been usurped by this young Sam Prendergast guy I've heard so much about. But yeah, no, it's interesting. And Courtney Laws. And here's another one. Owen Farrell. Like, you can take Owen Farrell and not lose any respect from any Australian and expect a good on-field leader who can play 10 and 12.
I feel like Owen Farrell is going to be Andy Farrell's selfish pick. He's like, you know what? I'm taking my son.
Taking my boy.
And I can't really blame him.
No,
I think he really wants to coach the son. And
Yeah.
Owen Farrell is a steward 10.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are debating, is it going to be, because a lot of people have Sam Prendergast now. He's in like any...
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, we'll talk about something in a second there. It's like every major like
it's like it's fashionable to
media person
10 minutes
is putting him on that plane or in the conversation. Marcus Smith and Finn Russell. My thing, the Lions 10 is going to be Owen Farrell.
I think you could be right.
Yes, I have no doubt he's going to be the Lions 10. Trustworthy. He's still a good player. Not having a good time in racing, but we see a lot of good players. Look at Sia Khaleesi, right? Went to racing.
Yeah.
Wasn't the same player.
Nope.
Came out to the Springboks.
Yeah.
Like world class.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not putting anything that Owen Farrell is doing in racing against him for a Lions tour.
Me too. I agree. You just know what he's like. I would take him for the same reason I would take O'Mahony. You need a leader. You need a strong, angry, hard bastard leader.
And hands down, that's why he's going to be... So everyone's making this 10 debate. I'm like, the 10 has already been... in my eyes, the 10's already been chosen. It's Owen Farrell.
Well, I think you take him as the kind of cover leader, probably could start, but...
He's starting. He's starting. He's the starter.
All right.
he's probably going to have Finn Russell as his backup.
Here's something else I will say. I think you could take 3 English 10s and not worry about Finn Russell or Prendergast, because you could take Finn Smith, Marcus Smith, and Owen Farrell, and I think that's pretty fucking strong.
The thing that Finn Russell has and Owen Farrell have, in my eyes too, is the experience.
Yeah, you need experience,
right?
Yeah,
you're going with the Lions tour. You're gonna want to bring these guys have been in there. They've been there. They put the jersey on.
Yeah.
These are the guys that they have the experience.
Yeah.
Andy Farrell really likes guys with experience.
We've got to remember as well, this is not the hardest Lions tour that's ever. It might be. It sounds really disrespectful. This might be the easiest Lions tour that's ever happened.
It might be, or it might be one of the hard. You never know.
You never know. And Australia definitely got a lot better under Schmidt, and that's class. And I'm so happy about that.
Schmidt's not going to bring they're going to be coming with their A game.
Yeah, they're going to play
a lot of work. And then when they came to the Northern
right?
Hemisphere, they kind of turned a lot of heads. Like this team's looking. Like that team was looking different. That
team
was growing.
Different. It is growing.
They weren't where they wanted to be.
Yeah.
But they were getting there.
They were getting
Progress was being made. So I feel like there's
But Schmidt leaving makes me upset about it.
It does. It kind of dampers it. I don't know, but I feel like they're going to want to put on a big show for everyone. I feel like this is going to be a competitive series.
I think it's competitive. I just think it's not the same as going to South Africa and New Zealand.
The thing that would be really embarrassing, the worst case scenario, is if I think that the rugby championship happens afterwards. Let's say the Wallabies win the series.
Yeah.
They beat the Lions.
Yeah.
And then they get trashed in the rugby championship.
And then we really learn
that
who's
would
the
be
top
fucking
dog.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of embarrassment riding on this, right? And if the Lions come in and just cheese over the Wallabies, then it's gonna be lackluster and a lot of things I think also what I'm going to put in there too is Andy Farrell is probably going to make a bunch of decisions that's going to make us go, what the fuck?
Really?
Yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more English in that team than a lot of people are predicting.
There's one guy, Andy Farrell is really the best coach in the world for me. Him and Rassi, because they don't make bad decisions. They're nice guys.
I think he's going to make some decisions that's going to make a lot of people question. He's gonna
sanity.
He's gonna and it's gonna be something massive, where he's gonna pick someone that was full on supposed to be in that position, and he's gonna, I feel like there's gonna be a lot more English in this squad than everyone's anticipating.
I give England a lot of compliments because they've got a lot of class players, but one thing they don't have right now is cohesion, and you need cohesion to kind of have like you said, they don't have a spine. And it's hard to pick English guys because they don't have a spine. You could take... Elliot Daly will probably go because he goes on every Lions tour ever.
Yeah, he fucking will.
And he'll probably kick the winning kick for the Test series as well, knowing fucking Elliot Daly. But he's one of those guys where he's like the last vestige of that English spine in a way, right? Everyone else is gone. I don't really know this England team. I like a lot about them. But... if he does pick a lot of English guys, I would be surprised. Mm-hmm. He's loyal to his Irish boys. Why would you, for example, pick Alex Mitchell over Jameson Gibson Park?
I wouldn't.
No, and neither will Andy Farrell.
But Andy Farrell could.
Why would he do that?
I don't think it's going to be in that position. There's going to be some positions that are more up in the air.
Better question then. Why would you pick Jamie George, Theo Dan, or Luke Cowan-Dickey over Dan Sheehan? Why would you do it? You wouldn't.
He wouldn't. In reality, but he's the coach. He might see some things that we don't see. This is one of the smartest rugby brains in the world.
Right, but
so you're going to see because you're.
But sometimes the simplest solution's the right one, right? Dan Sheehan's just better.
We're all patients, right? And we're trying to diagnose the Lions, right? Andy Farrell's the actual doctor. He went to med school, right? he's actually he knows what's up, right?
Yeah,
there's things that these coaches are seeing that we're not totally seeing. That's where I'm thinking there's gonna be some surprises. Another thing, if we go back to 10, how Sam Prendergast is making his name up on all these all these lists, everyone, all these people, Sam Prendergast, right? Which is confirming me that's that
you were right all along.
But what's the podcast with Youngs and
For the Love of Rugby? I'm enjoying that.
For Dan Cole. So they had Sam Prendergast on the plane.
I saw that.
Right? And then I went into the comments and I saw something very interesting.
Yeah.
Really eye-opening.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the I saw, there wasn't a ton, but I saw a few that said, I feel so bad for Jack Crowley. He hasn't done anything wrong.
That was probably me.
He's played great.
I think that was me. I could point that comment out to you. That was me. Right? I'm not joking.
And I saw like 4 of these comments, exactly the same comment.
It's me on my other accounts.
Yeah, and I'm like, is it AI making these things? Because I was like,
there's Russian bots.
The surprising thing for me, though,
yeah,
with these comments, was it wasn't that they were saying the same thing. They all claimed they were Welsh fans.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck?
One is 100% me. Like, I'm not even joking. One of those comments is definitely me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw 4 of them, and I'm like,
that is weird that there's 4 of them.
What the fuck is going on here? And
it
made me open my mind, is that you guys don't give a fuck about Jack Crowley at all. It's not about Jack Crowley. It has nothing to do with Jack Crowley.
Maybe we just have a strong sense of loyalty and honor.
There's something about...
And we don't get caught up in media hype.
Yeah, there's something deeper. It has nothing to do with Jack Crowley. You guys don't give a fuck about Jack Crowley.
I think it says more about you, who claim to be a Munster fan and has immediately forgotten that you're a Munster fan.
Yeah, there's something about Sam Prendergast that's getting under the Welsh skin.
You think so?
Yeah, there's something there. Like, what is going on? Like, what is the real trauma here?
I and all the Welsh people in the world, we want is for Ireland to beat us and be successful all the time. So that's why we want to pick Jack Crowley.
It's like you guys are mad that Ireland have this like horrible 10 drama where we don't know who the best 10 is, and you guys are mad because you guys want that problem.
Fuck, I would be
Look
nice.
at you guys squandering these great talent. We will take him,
Yeah, I would take Jack Crowley.
Yeah, a lot of people would.
I know we're joking, but I think there is a grain of truth there, because I do agree that I would love to have this problem. It's annoying. It's like giving... I can't think of a good analogy, but like... That is the problem we would like to have, and to see it being squandered. And all the mainstream pundits, I feel like I'm being gaslit by Sam Prendergast. And I want to repeat, I think he's a good player. I'm not lying. I think he's a good player. But just look at his missed tackles in a Six Nations game, right? Just look at that kick on the full. He made several serious mistakes that Jack Crowley would never have made again in that Wales game.
There's something underlying. There's some kind of trauma.
I've told you what it is. Jealousy. It's jealousy.
There's a trauma going on.
It's like if we had these resources, well, we wouldn't use them correctly because we're the fucking run by the Welsh Rugby Union. But I would love to have that problem. And they're making the wrong decision.
There's something about... I found it really surprising how there's something about the Irish...
I've got to go back to that video.
Yeah. There's something about the Irish that gets under the Welsh skin again.
Well, yeah, we know that.
I was surprised by that when they got into the rugby world.
It's mutual.
And there's
you don't know that?
I didn't know that. I just found that out.
Oh, what, just now?
I thought you guys were kind of indifferent
with
each other.
No.
And then
you guys
all kind of collectively hated
Have
England
you listened
together.
to a word I've said in the entire time I've known you?
Yeah, there's some you guys want to be the the mistress, the England, no, we're the main mistress. No, we're the main.
What are you talking about? No, Wales and Ireland, we hate each other in a rugby way.
Anyways, let's just.
No, don't just fucking dance away from me now. I'm going to comment.
Yeah. Short things in the news. Piero Manning's retiring.
Yeah.
Felix Jones back with South Africa.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got anything to say about that?
No.
Oh.
That's just, he went back home.
I'm a bit sad because we were speculating all these different crazy things, and he did the most obvious thing anyone would do: go back to the place that he loves.
I feel
he went back to his happy hunting ground. I
can't believe no one picked him up. What a waste. I think not a waste. He's going to South Africa. He's going to do really good there. He's in a system that he loves. He's working with people that he works really well with.
Yeah,
it's going to make South Africa even better. But what a missed opportunity to have him in a program that could really use he's got a special talent.
Do you know what's surprising about him for me as well is people told me he's a really good analyst and everything, and then I assumed he was this geeky laptop guy who's piping. Actually, if we move the fullback to the wing in minute, and then I watched him he's a fiery, angry. We're gonna. Fucking, I loved it as well. I was not only is he a diligent, analytical man, he fucking cares, right?
Yeah.
He's really passionate.
He's
a total asset. How did England fuck that up? How the fuck did England fuck that up?
I know. They had a golden opportunity there, and they just fucked it.
They're
right
really
up.
just as bad as Wales. I don't know what to do with a good thing.
Let's go on with let's end this podcast up. Let's go with some predictions for next week's games.
Which USC, Six Nations?
Six Nations.
MLR. Super Rugby.
First game of the weekend.
Yeah.
We got Ireland, France. Ooh.
In Dublin.
Oh, we got Saturday's games are sick.
Yeah. In Dublin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I said this at the start, and I think I'm going to stick with what I said. I think Ireland will win that.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
They're just, the momentum is with them. Like they can win a Grand Slam, which is huge. Gatlin said it right. You get momentum going in this tournament. You know it's winnable.
They had their dig out game too. They got taken to the brink with Wales.
Yeah.
So they had their head shake.
Yeah. And France had their head shake and failed that test. Ireland had their head shake and succeeded in that test.
Yeah.
And this is actually what rugby is about. It doesn't matter about your attacking flair, which France have in abundance. It's about grit, right? And digging deep and game management. And Ireland have that just a little bit more than France do.
Yeah. I think this is like not even a talent. Like the talent on both teams is there.
Yeah, it is.
They both have great players. This is a real mental game.
I think actually France have more talent. Ireland are just more cohesive.
Yes, and I think the mentality of these players going into this game is going to be the difference.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
The next game after that, Scotland, Wales.
Oh, I can't predict this now. Well, no, I think, as much as we've come back to life and we're on the right meds and we're doing the right rehab program, this is still a massive ask, a new coach bounce is a thing. We were in Cardiff with our fans. We put on a performance. You got to remember, Matt Sherritt still only had probably by now 6 training sessions with the team. I would say the odds, if you're being logical, Scotland will win this game. I think it'd be close. I'd love it to be close.
I heard Dewey Lake is back in this one too.
He's in the squad. He's in the training, but I won't think he'd start. I mean, actually, I think one of the weird things that's happened to Wales is our line-out is working because Ryan Lice is gone. Starting Elliot D was the most fucking simple and obvious idea that anyone's ever had in Wales. So Dewi Lake coming back. Now we've got Elliot D and Evan Lloyd. We actually look pretty sorted at hooker. Like they're both good hookers. So Dewi Lake can hang out. I don't know. I'm joking.
I feel like this. I feel bad for Scotland in this game.
Yeah, they're the bad guys, aren't they now?
I feel like Wales. This is it. They're coming. They're gunning to win this game. They got momentum on their side.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Wales win this. They're gonna win this game.
I think Scotland will win, but they'll be the bad guys for it. We have been the bad guys in many games. I remember we played Fiji when Fiji were like the darlings of world rugby, and everyone was desperate for Fiji to win, and we beat them just about in the World Cup. And everyone was like, fuck you, Wales.
Yeah.
How could you beat fucking Fiji? Poor little Fiji. And now we're that. Like, everyone's forgotten that they hated Wales in a rugby rivalry way, like how Ireland feel. I feel like how Africans did during Live Aid now. Everyone's like, we're going to feed you, Wales. We're going to send you aid. And we're like, we're fine. We're okay. I'd rather you hate me than feel sorry for me. I don't want to be the darling of rugby. I want people to hate us again.
The animal that the Welsh team are bringing is going to be nuts. This is going to be, I fully believe this. Okay. Wales are gonna fucking like take it to Scotland.
Oh, feed me
hard.
With that.
It's gonna be a fucking like they want this win. This is it.
Yeah.
A lot of things are coming together with them.
Yeah.
The moods are good.
Yeah.
The plans are in place.
Yeah.
The Wales are gonna win this game. They're gonna scratch this game out. They're gonna fucking win it.
I'm erect.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
By like a few points. But they're gonna jam slam this fucking game here.
All right.
It's gonna be greasy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
But they're gonna win this fucking game.
Big words.
Yeah. I have full faith in that.
No, I think Scotland are what Wales were a few years ago, where we could beat all the teams we were expected to beat, but not the teams we would like to beat. And I think Scotland will win. If I'm putting my logical hat on, I would love to believe you.
As a diehard Welsh fan, I'm calling that these guys are gonna
love it.
Welsh are gonna come and bring it.
All right.
Sunday, England versus Italy.
Nah, I can't see it. England.
I'm picking England to win this game too.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's I have like a little magical feeling about this year with Italy. I feel like Italy might make us believe for a little bit that they might win this game.
They need to claim a scalp here.
Yeah.
Another one.
If they fucking beat England, that'd be so incredible.
It would be good. That game against France, yeah, France are good, but Italy went backwards. They went backwards. Like, I don't know.
Defensive-wise, I thought defensive-wise, that's where they went backwards. They just could not,
didn't they? They just
and
crumbled.
that four pack was just, they just could not. But I feel like those things were fixable, and we've seen better performances from Italy.
We definitely have. They definitely had an off day.
Yeah.
I just don't. They don't have the bench to be. England.
Don't see England pounding Italy.
I do.
No.
I do. I think this is the one where England finally put things together, because there's no England don't do well under pressure recently. This is a game where they will feel like they can express themselves, and I think they will.
No, I feel like this is going to be a close, tight game, and England. I feel like England will win, but there's something magical about this game. There's some. I feel some
England
magic. I feel some
points.
rugby pixie dust.
Nah,
you know,
I've changed my mind. England by 30 points. This is going to be a bullying. I love writing Italy off.
Well, I think we talked about everything we need to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we've done enough rugby drama news and tea.
All right.
Thank you for listening. Like and share the podcast. You can email us at thefriendsofrugbypod@gmail.com. Have a good one, folks. Have a good one, folks.
What do I say? Will vow.
What happened to you? Bye.
I don't want to do that. It's cringy. I was going to do it and then I didn't. Fuck off.